Today we're going to talk about our costs, how these costs should influence our prices, and how our costs and prices relate to profit. Sound good? Alright, before we begin, please understand, this presentation is to demonstrate best practices and promote overall industry welfare. The presentation provides general information and is for informational purposes only. Any reliance upon this information contained in this presentation is at the sole risk of the user. No warranties, either expressed or implied, are made by the author or Eastern Contractor Services. Thank you, Thea, for that disclaimer.
Just watching your butt, babe.
Why are we all in business? Anybody? To make money. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Whoever said money is the root of all evil didn't freaking have any. It's not unethical to earn a profit. We all work hard. We provide great products and great services. Why the heck are so many people and so many companies working so hard to break even or even lose money? It's because they don't really understand their costs and their overhead. Everybody stand up for 1 second for me.
You're killing me.
Move around a little bit. I know we've been sitting for a long time. Repeat after me. I work hard.
I work hard.
I deserve to make a lot of money.
I deserve to make a lot of money.
I will make a lot of money.
I will make a lot of money.
Okay, a little bit less emotional than I would have hoped. Remember, adding emotion to anything makes you more successful at what you're trying to accomplish. So really believe it. Believe. Make it your reality that you're going to be a success. Imagine yourself in the new car, having the new watch on your wrist, the new boat, the new house. Believe that you're going to have those things, and you will. Let's talk about how to get there. Let's talk about the numbers
Hey, Todd,
behind the business.
can we sit down?
You can sit down, yes. Or you can stand, whatever you prefer. Numbers don't lie. They are what they are. They tell a clear story of your company and your operations. All of the numbers on your income statement are tied to each individual job that you do. By looking only at monthly numbers or quarterly numbers, you're only reading the summary results of the month or quarter. You're only reading the last page of the chapter or the story. You need to read the entire story page by page, which is individual job costing and analysis. Then you need to use your individual job cost analysis along with the information on your income statement to analyze your costs and know when and where you will lose money, break even, or make a profit. You should know when you give a price what your profit should be. If the job cost analysis after the job is done does not fall within the parameters that you set, then you better dig in and find out exactly why on every single job. Let's start by looking at a sample income statement. You can actually see it, sort of. The first part of your income statement is your cost of goods sold. There's more than one way to interpret what you want to put in your cost of goods sold versus what you want to list as an operating expense. But for today's purposes, we'll do it my way, which is the correct way. Cost of goods sold is made up of your material, your labor, and the costs associated directly with your direct labor, meaning your workers' comp insurance on direct labor and your payroll taxes on direct labor. So if you take your beginning inventory, add your purchases, less your inventory at the end of your period, that's your material cost. You can see at the bottom, your total material cost, we have in this example, is $485,000, which is 51.1% of your sales, which you'll see on top of $950,000. The total labor is $140,000, which is 14.7% of your sales. Your payroll tax and workers' comp as a percentage of your sales is 3.4%. and as a percentage of your labor costs is 22.9%. So try to remember those numbers because they're important, and it will enable us to calculate some unit costs later on. From your cost of goods sold, you can surmise your gross profit. In this case, it's 30.8%, $293,000. This is where most people stop analyzing their costs. I made 30%. No, you didn't make 30%. You're not even close to making 30%. You have to look at your operating expenses, your overhead. Overhead can fall into two different categories. There's fixed and there's variable. Your fixed costs are the ball and chain of the business world. You pay these costs week to week, month to month, year to year. They do not change based on your level of activity. If you take one more job, your fixed costs are not affected. Salaries would be a good example of a fixed cost. It's not going to change. Your variable costs, for the purpose of today's discussion, are costs directly related to the completion of one more job. Gas, commissions would be examples of variable costs. This one's a little bit tough to see, so I'm going to have to cheat a little bit. So on your income statement, you have your list of operating expenses, which you're going to break down. And again, there's some debate about what you're going to consider fixed and what you're going to consider variable, and it's up to each individual to determine that. You can speak with your accountant and determine. You can call me if you want some insight. But you'll figure out what you want to determine as a fixed cost and what you want to determine as a variable cost. Now, on this sheet, I'm considering commissions a variable, credit card fees, although the next job may not pay with a credit card. We're going to disperse those and allocate those credit card fees across every job. Operating insurance, definitely a variable expense. Most operating insurance premiums are based on your volume of sales. You do more sales, your operating insurance goes up. Auto repairs, gas, tolls and parking, I'm all considering variable expense. At the bottom, if you can see, you'll see your total operating expense for this example is $311,000, $311,050, which is 32.74% of your sales and 47.34% of your cost of goods sold. You can further break it down and say your variable costs are 13.17% of your sales and 19.04% of your cost of goods sold. And your fixed costs are 19.57% of your sales and 28.30% of your cost of goods sold. You'll remember that our gross profit was $293,000. Our operating expenses we now show as $311,000, which leaves us in the hole for $18,050. If total overhead in this example is 32.74% and our gross profit was only 30.8%, we've lost almost 2% by being in business. Why bother? It was an awful lot of work to lose 2%. Possible considerations to prevent this loss would be to either lower your costs, lower your overhead, or raise your prices. Let's look at developing a unit price for our fictitious product. If we've got a material cost of 10 cents and our labor is 5 cents, we can figure out that our workers' comp and payroll tax, which is 22.9% of our labor, is 0.0114, which makes our total labor cost 0.0614, which makes our cost of goods sold 0.1614. We can now figure out our variable costs and our fixed costs based on the percentages that we saw a couple slides back to come up with a total cost of 24 cents. If you price this fictitious product at 24 cents, you're covering all of your costs, if everything goes as expected. By using this information, you can set price levels within your organization and know what profit should be based on the prices that you set. Determining price based on cost. Price should be based on your cost. It should not be based on someone else's pricing. If they can do it, then I guess I can do it too. Their cost might not be the same as your cost. So let's take a look. Again, from using the same numbers, we find out that our total cost for this product, this unit cost, is 24 cents. If we double that, it's 100% markup. It becomes 48 cents, which is not 100% profit. Remember, profit is different than markup. This would be a 50% profit if we doubled our cost. You can then discount that number and still understand and know what your profit is going to be. If you discount your 48 cents by 20%, you're going to give a 20% discount, your price becomes 38 cents. You're still going to earn a 37% profit. And I'm talking net profit, not gross. If you discount 30%, you'll be at 34 cents. And as you see the last line, if you discount it 50%, obviously it makes sense that that is your break even. You're back to 24 cents. And that's where your cost is to begin with. All of this information is great to determine your costs and set your price. But the final and very important step is reviewing the completed jobs to make sure that it worked. I know a lot of people who do estimated job costs. They figure out what their costs are going to be based on their estimate, but they don't do anything with the actual cost of the job. You need to job cost on the actual material used, the actual labor paid, in order to find out whether you're making or losing money, and to figure out why you're losing money or breaking even if that's the case. There are several programs out there that generate these types of reports. The last presenter from AllPro was one of them, certainly. We use a product called AtQuote, which is a similar product that works very well. One thing you need to remember is that the information is only as good as the data that's entered. Garbage in equals garbage out. If you're entering the wrong information, then you're going to get the wrong information on your reports. Somebody in your organization should be reviewing one of these for each and every job the company does. And quite frankly, it shouldn't just be reviewing the report, it should be reviewing the report along with the daily worksheets that you're getting to see where you went right or went wrong. So this one's a little bit tough to see. Again, these presentations are all going to be available so that you'll be able to go onto the ICAA website and print them out. But this report will show you what you measured, the unit cost for what you measured, the total cost for what you measured. It'll then show you your actual usage with its unit cost and total cost, and it'll show you the variance. So in this particular example, we measured 2,300 square feet of R30 craft, 16 by 48, but we installed 2,895 square footage of R30, 16 by 48. 595 square foot difference, and a cost difference, again a made-up cost difference of $238. You'll see your total measured footage was 4674. Your total actual footage was 5322, a difference of 648 feet. Again, you priced the job based on what you measured, but it's not what got installed. The cost variance, $306.45. It'll show you your estimated labor. It'll show you your actual labor paid. And it'll show you the correct labor based on the actual footage installed. Then it will show you your labor over or under. So in this particular example, our material costs were $306 more than we anticipated. Our labor was $127.60 more than we anticipated. with a total overage of $434.05. At the bottom, you'll see your material cost, your actual material cost, your direct labor. It'll show you your overhead on direct labor, your total cost of goods sold, your variable overhead, your fixed overhead, your total cost, and your net profit, which in this case was negative $419. We overpaid and overused material for $434, so we know exactly why we're losing money on this job. Now, we priced it right. You'll see on top our price level was A minus, or list price, minus 49%, which you'll remember from our prior slide, was about break even. Had everything gone perfectly, we would have broken even on this job. But unfortunately, we used more material than we thought we would. We overpaid. Now the question is, why? Why did this happen? Was the job short measured? Was there extra work done? Was material overshipped or thrown away? Was material stolen off the job? Was there a clerical error? Find out what went wrong and fix it. This gives you the clues. You know that there was a material problem and a labor problem. Sometimes it's just a labor problem, sometimes it's just a material problem, but you want to find out what happened and learn from it so that it doesn't happen again, and hopefully fix it. If you overpaid a guy, then you need to take that money back. If you underpaid a guy, then you should give him the money that's owed to him. You can also take a look at your percentages. If your material cost, the percentage of material as a percentage of cost of goods sold or of your sale price doesn't equal what you figured out earlier on your income statement, it's a red flag. If your average labor is 14.7%, but in this example it ends up being 16.5%, you know immediately that there's something wrong. It gives you the clues to figure out where to begin, where to start to find out where you went wrong. Like everybody, I moved pretty quickly and covered a lot of information. There's a lot of numbers, a lot of percentages. The presentation was simply an introduction to these concepts to get you thinking. If anybody's interested in speaking with me or working with me individually, let's connect over the next couple of days. Remember, in order to maintain profit and have control over your profit and success in your business, you must understand your costs.